After warning the village of what they had seen, the fishermen began to set up a defense against the cannibals who, as Jade suspected, were attempting an assault on the town. Hopefully, we are good enough to handle this one cannibal. It looks like they beat the crap out of all the other cannibals, so it's probably not much of a problem for us. We're going to go ahead and loot them for everything they have. Feeling as though they had done their part for this town, Jade and Kane decided it was time to move on. They had made a bit of a profit here, selling the weapons of the downed cannibals. There seems to be more cannibals over here. How many do we got? Oh. They got into some kind of fight with bone dogs. Probably 3 of them. We don't really need to get involved. So, after a bit of discussion, Jade and Kane decided that it was too risky traveling south through the Akronites' territory, the Holy Nation, and Jade didn't really know about anything further west other than more cannibals. So we're traveling out east, and we're going to attempt to get through Bast and into the United Cities territory. Hopefully, we will be able to get through this area relatively safely. It will be nighttime soon, and I'm hoping that under the cover of night, maybe while sneaking, we may be able to avoid detection. I don't know why you guys are trying to swim. Yeah, just fucking go. As they passed the remnants of the old world, the scraps and iron that littered the terrain, Jade wondered if perhaps one day there would be a new city, a place that could be a refuge for people like her and Kane, misfits, the discarded. She had heard of the rules and regulations of the United Cities, of course, in her travels. Never really traveling that far east, however. Kane, who... well, I've heard of this place. A whole city wiped out in a single day by the Holy Nation. Yep. Sounds about right. They roasted the head noble alive in the name of Akron and carted the youngsters off to Rebirth. That's where we came from. We were out in Rebirth. You know what it's like to be slaves there. Yeesh, I mean, I hate nobles as much as the next guy, but... yeah, the nobles don't tend to be very good people. But actually, he probably deserved it. See, Kane has had more experience with the United Cities than Jade has. A hiver coming from one of the Western Hive. He was further south, down in this region, near Crater, the Hook. There are United Cities down there as well. Maybe we should sneak a little bit. Get our sneak skills up. If we are gonna bust out some more slaves, we're gonna have to learn to be sneaky. Oh, we got some soldiers over here. It's samurai. So United Cities conscripts. It's better we run into them than we run into the Holy Nation. They will not be kind to us. First of all, because Jade is female, and she's not being accompanied by a man. And secondly, because they will not like Cain. They will not take very kindly to him being a hiver. Oh, okay. It looks like the United Cities is fighting a skimmer, which is basically just a big bug. We're going to go ahead and take this. And I believe Cain can eat this raw meat. So we're going to have Cain take that as some more food. And keep going, you know? We don't really need to say anything to them. They don't need to say anything to us. We're just passing on through. I want to get over into the desert as soon as possible and out of Bast, because I do not want to run into the Holy Nation. And it is very possible that they are out here somewhere, just waiting to beat the shit out of us for fun. This is a nice little hill. There seems to be some sort of conflict. Oh, it's a good thing we didn't go to check that building out. I was thinking about it. Yeah, there's a Holy Nation, and they're fighting cannibals. Good. Doesn't really matter who wins that fight. Ultimately, we win. Oh, it's a bone dog. He's just traveling. He's just a bone dog. He's like, hey, I smell something over there. I'm gonna give me a limb. 'Cause I'm a bone dog. And I like to travel this wasteland. Sniffing stuff out. Oh, we're getting too far away. Goodbye, bone dog. We got too far away. The camera just couldn't handle it. Alright. A lot of hungry Empire peasants live out here. It's likely we'll meet some of them. It's very possible. They'll want our food and they won't ask nicely for it. Yeah. Sounds about right, Jade. See, Jade is trying to convince Cain that, you know, you can't really trust people. Cain wants to trust people. He wants to be a good guy, and he wants to help people. You know? Cain, his time in Rebirth, it did sort of change him. Right? The Hivers are so used to kind of following the queen and not really thinking for themselves, not being independent. But since leaving the hive, Cain has started to develop his feelings and emotions more. He still thinks back to the Shek girl Stone, wondering if she's back at Rebirth right now, trapped, unable to leave, partly in a prison of her own creation. She could have left with them. Cain wasn't sure if they both would have made it out, but he had. And perhaps she could have. Cain wonders if there was something more he could have done to convince her, but he keeps this to himself, not really wanting to bother Jade as she checks over the maps, trying to figure out which direction they need to head in. Somewhere southeast. That's all they had to go on. Seems we have manhunters. The manhunters travel the deserts looking for people such as us. People who are small in number and perhaps weaker. If they were to find us, they would attempt to take us as slaves, bringing us to one of the dreaded mining camps. Somehow, some way, we would die there, no doubt. Probably starved, worked to death. The United Cities also believed in slavery. However, whereas the Holy Nation enslaves people for the will of their God, for their doctrine, the United Cities does it straight up for profit. What is that? Something walking around here. Oh. Starving vagrants. Well, as Jade had said, they are more than likely going to attack us. We should perhaps try to go around. There's something else coming. It's a larger group of starving vagrants. Okay. Well, I think we're going south. I don't think they should see us, especially since we're sneaking, even though our skills aren't very high at the moment. We should be alright. Nothing else in the immediate area, so should be good to run again. Now, getting to the United Cities does not guarantee our safety. What is that? Manhunters. Alright, let's just sneak on by. What do we got over to there? It's more manhunters. So we're sandwiched in between two groups of manhunters. That's probably fine. The city of Stoat. Okay. Don't know if that's necessarily going to be useful for our journey, but we will find out. Okay, should be good to run again. I could see the city over the hills. Jade exclaims to Kane, who sort of grunts and nods his head. The two making a break for it, deciding that perhaps the best course of action was to expedite themselves, get there post-haste. Hopefully we're not too poor. We have 15,000 cats. Alright, the guards are just letting us on in. Thankfully. I'm pretty sure if we were starving or something, they would not have taken very kindly to us. Jade goes to the first shop she can, hoping to sell these animal claws. There we go. Anything we need? Not really. Okay, let's see what kind of buildings we got here. So, if you're ever in a city, or if you just want to see if there's items on the ground or anything like that, you want to hold down the Alt key. And you'll see that holding down the Alt key will highlight building signs. So it makes it a little bit easier to be able to tell. Oh, that was a skimmer. Okay. To tell where buildings are and which buildings they are. So, as you can see, they sell slaves here. That could be one way to rescue slaves. However, that would be helping the slave market by purchasing them. Which, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. We're sort of incentivizing them, really, to get more slaves by doing that. Is there anything worthwhile here that we would want? Is that right, Davy? A kimono? There wasn't much here for us. Oh, it seems to be some sort of fight going on. We were going to head out and see about finding another United Cities city. Oh, they're just fighting a skimmer. Actually, hold on. I think we can loot these guys. I don't know if they have anything we really want. I don't think it counts as stealing. Well, I don't think we really care. We're heading out back sort of north, going northeast, kind of along, I guess, this road, if you can call it that. It's not really a road, it's just sort of a traveling route. That's probably more of what it would be. Gotta be careful for skimmers. Sometimes they just sort of jump up onto the sands, ambush you. Oh, a stone camp. We could stop by the stone camp. I could show you what happens to people who are enslaved here in the United Cities territory. It's unpleasant. I've had to be a slave to the United Cities in a previous playthrough. I died. I starved to death as a slave. These poor people. These poor lost souls. They're starving to death in there. There's just really nothing we can do about it. There's too many slavers for us to really put up any sort of fight. Unless there was some sort of enemies that we could lure over here, perhaps, to distract the guards or to kill the guards. But we would not be able to take these guards on. Not by ourselves. Oh, it seems like they're beating a slave. Oh man. Jade can hear the yelling. She was very familiar with it. Yep, they beat that slave. Oh, there's a slave master Haga? This guy must be a noble. Oh man. Oh, they're just beating all the slaves. Uh-oh. Sand ninjas. No thank you. I don't want any trouble with you guys. Fucking sand ninjas. Just stay on over there. I'll stay over here. The sand ninja had a bounty of 4,000 cats, though. If only we could. Bounty hunting is sometimes a useful way of making money. It really all depends. Certain bounties you're inevitably going to go for, like Dust King or etc. I mean, Dust King is probably the most common one. And I don't know. Normally getting bounties will increase your relation. Seems the guards are just kind of letting us on into town. No big deal. Will increase your relation with the faction that you have given the bounty to. So if we were to give a bounty to the Shek Kingdom or to the United Cities, I mean, would be a good example since we're here. If we gave a bounty to the United Cities, it would increase our relation with them probably just by a little bit. Not really a lot. It tends to be 2 to 4 points, and it really depends on how big the bounty is. If you ever want to check your faction relations, you can go to the squad tab down here in the bottom right, and there's a button up here for factions next to map. And this will tell you every single faction that you've encountered so far. This isn't every faction in the game, it's only the ones that I've encountered. And it will tell you what my relation is with them. So obviously all the cannibal tribes are at negative 100 right off the bat. They are just going to be naturally hostile to everybody. As for most other groups, it's going to be a 0 unless I do something to really piss them off, and then I'll start getting negative reputation with them. There is a mod that I have that lets me increase faction relation by healing enemies, which I don't think is too cheap. It's it's just something, it takes time, it takes effort to do. So I feel, it's a store, yeah it is a store. Alright, actually we don't need anything from the store. But yeah, it only increases it by a little bit at a time, and it's not a guaranteed thing. It's sort of a dice roll, Occasionally it will give me a reputation boost with them. Is there... Yes, there is. Nobles? Oh. Ellis. Okay. I want to talk to you. Can I talk to you? So you want in on the shinobi, eh? The gods try to lay the crackdown, but they ain't fooling nobody. They're nothing. Nothing a few cats can't handle. I want to join the shinobi thieves. You can join for a fee. Is that it? I don't have to complete a test to prove myself or something? Do I look like I got time for handing out busy work? No, this is a business we're running, not a social club. Just one-time membership fee, 10,000 cats. So, what'll it be? Do you want to join the guild? He's not even looking at me, he's just looking off to the side. I'm just staring blankly at this guy. It's like, who the hell are you? Yes, sign me up. 10,000 cats. Clasps hands. Welcome, sister, to the Shinobi Thieves. Shinobi Thieves are now your allies. So if I go back into the squad and I go to factions, you'll see that Shinobi Thieves is now green with 100. That means that they are allied with me. 100%. Now, one of the benefits of allying with the Shinobi Thieves is that they have their own plastic surgeon, which is this guy here. He's coming in. And if you ever want to edit your character, change their appearance or something, you just come on here, do it for free instead of paying whatever the fee might be at the bars that will sometimes have plastic surgeons. Also, they have a trader. He seems to be upstairs, so we're going to go up there and talk to him, see what he's got in his inventory to sell. New member, eh? Well, unless you actually enjoy the inside of a jail cell, knock that shifty look off your face. I could spot you a mile off. Anyway, down to business. What do you got for me? What do you buy? Illegal goods that you can smuggle into the city. Drugs, that kind of thing. But if you got stolen loot, you want a fence, talk to my friend here. That's his territory. Where can I source these illegal goods? Well, that's your job, not mine. Alright, newbie. If you're really that clueless, try the swamps. You'll have a lot of competition there, though. I think I have something to trade. Alright. Oh, nice. He's got a Hiver shirt. But it's 12,000 cats. I was gonna say another benefit is that you get a discount when you buy things that are stolen, but when you try to sell things, it sells at a discount. So really the best thing to do, I feel, is to buy, and then if you have stuff you're going to sell, just sell it to a different trader. I mean, if it's not stolen, it doesn't really matter, and you'll probably get a bigger profit off of it. So, now that Jade and Kane have reached the city of Shobutai, and we've joined the Shinobi Thieves, we have access not only to all these previously mentioned things, but also to their beds in case we need a rest, and to their training equipment, which they have lockpick training equipment. They have training dummies, which we've actually already surpassed because we're in the 15s. These can only train you up to 5. But they do have an assassination training dummy, which can give you up to 19. And since our assassination is at 0, I think what I'm going to have Jade and Kane do for the time being while we're in this town is train up their lock picking as much as they can and train up their assassination as much as they can. Then it's a matter of getting our stealth high enough, or perhaps getting some armor that will increase our stealth so that we can go start liberating some slaves. We're gonna save so many slaves, you have no idea. And some of them are gonna want to join us. It's gonna be great. I'll have to think of some really neat names and maybe see what happens next as Jade tries to figure out what the next move will be.